The language arts and multiliteracy's curriculum most ultimate goal is anchored on the language acquisition, learning, teaching, and assessing principles. So basically, it is all about communicative competence. As an aspiring future language teacher, I will take my part in upon the realization of this goal includes myself to possess self-development, cognitive abilities, and has means of experience in communicating efficiently and effectively. In addition to that, language learning is affected by globalization, of course, in terms of sudden changes in the norms. So as a teacher, I must be creative and flexible enough to fit in. And in terms of effectiveness, I should, as a teacher, will nurture my students' sense of common ground in using language or languages for communication as present or future global citizens to prepare them to participate in school and in civic life. In that little way, they uphold the ultimate goal of the language arts and multiliteracy's curriculum. The language, arts, and multiliteracy's curriculum has four components. So these are language learning process, effective language use, making meaning through language, and lastly, holistic assessment. The first component, which is the language learning process, this illustrates the learning process that will affect the acquisition and learning of the language. So this component describes the how of language learning and thus serves as the guiding principles of language teaching. Example for this one is that the teacher will give the students activities that simulate real life situations of different language demands. So this scenario allows students to progress their language years. Component number two, effective language use. So this component states knowledge and skill areas that are essential to effective language use, such as in understanding cultures, language, process, and strategies, which will then be developed through language arts or the macro skill. The best classroom scenario for this one is that the learners reflect on ethical considerations. So, in the use of ideas and information. So, they recognize the importance of attributing sources of ideas and information and of presenting and or representing ideas and information in ways which are not misleading. So, they take into account the possible effects of and response to the presentation of ideas and information they have given. Component number three, making meaning through language. So this component shows the interdependence and interrelationships of the macro skills of the language and of course the development of thinking skills that will allow the students to make meaning through language. The best classroom scenario for this one is that the teacher will read out a text or an essay to the class and the students will give their different understanding and insights regarding the essay or the text. Component number four, holistic assessment. The holistic assessment of the language arts and multiliteracy's curriculum serves as the feedback of its effectiveness to students, teachers, school administrators, and curriculum developers. So the best classroom scenario for this one is that the teacher will conduct examinations or activities that has an ongoing process of gathering informations on the different facets of a child with the aim of providing qualitative and quantitative feedback in order to support and guide the progress of the child's development.